Welcome to the Power of Gratitude Masterclass, elevating our vibration to joy, prosperity, and love. Welcome, beautiful ones. Where are you in the world? Let's get these chats going because we got a powerful masterclass prepared for you that will uplift, enrich, and empower every area of your life. This is the power of gratitude because when we live with gratitude, we are truly rich. We're flowing in the wealth of life. Good to see you. Michael Matthews is in the house. Good to be with you, Chuck. Good to be with you, Dennis, Julie, Paul, everyone. This is a yearly tradition. Hi, Jamie. We've been leading this power of gratitude for over 10 years in our community, and it is a heartfelt time together where you're going to receive insights, distinctions, and daily practices to vibe in this incredible, juicy, joyful vibration that has power to enrich every aspect of your existence because we are vibrational beings. And I put together some slides for you, for those of you that are visuals. Who loves to get some visuals along with these powerful teachings? So here's why this teaching is essential. And I love that word essential because it means of our essence. Because you and I, we are vibrational beings. What we experience, what we attract in this field of infinite possibilities is what matches our vibe, our vibration, the energy that we are embodying. So tune in to the last week or the last month of your life. Where was your energy vibrating? Is anybody vibing in some stress, anxiety, fear, lack, limitation, scarcity, not enoughness? Or were we vibing in gratitude, appreciation, thanksgiving, connection, community, focus, love? This is the power. And today, what I'm going to be bringing in is both science and spirituality. As science and spirituality converge, the great scientist and inventor Nikola Tesla said, if you want to find, if you want to discover, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, think in terms of frequency, think in terms of vibration. So energy is a high vibrating frequency that it actually presupposes abundance. Who would love more abundance in their life? More prosperity, more wealth, okay? More of anything that is good, affirming what is good. This is the power of this frequency of gratitude. And interestingly, as I mentioned, everything that we're covering here today is science meets spirituality. So I'm going to be giving you some insights on the neuroscience of gratitude and the incredible benefits it has to boost your mood, to improve your immune system, to increase your health, reduce stress, enhance your well-being, and also what spiritual teachers, enlightened masters, and spiritual communities have known all along, which is that gratitude is a nucleus, a central point of conscious communities. Now, I just shared with you about science. Here's an interesting quote from the Bible that I remember contemplating many years ago in the early days when I was first launching my business. And the quote from Matthew says, "For whoever has, to him more will be given, and he will have abundance. But whoever does not have, even what he or she has will be taken away from him." And I remember reading this like in my late teens and thinking, wait a minute, there's got to be some parable or riddle here, because what do you mean that you're going to take more from one who has little and give more to the one who already has? This verse is specifically talking about the power of our frequency, the power of our vibration. That when we are vibrating in abundance, we activate a field of intelligence that brings even more of that into our sphere, into more of our lives, every aspect, our business, our life's purpose, what we're here to create. Here's the same verse from a different chapter, a different book in the of the gospel. It says, "Therefore, take heed how you hear, for whoever has, whoever has, to him more will be given, and who does not have, even what he seems to have will be taken from him." So what's really being said here is that the energy that we're in is the attraction point. We've all heard of the law of attraction, yes? The law of attraction is the secondary law after the law of vibration. And what the law of vibration says is that everything in the manifest universe, everything that is physical phenomena vibrates. You and I, we are vibrational beings, and what we're attracting is our vibrational match in a field of infinite possibilities. I remember I had this conversation years ago with my dear friend Michael Beckwith. Who knows Michael Beckwith? He's the leader of the Agape International Spiritual Center. And if you've been in class with me before, you've seen this diagram where I talk about that we live in a field of infinite possibilities. Fritz is nodding his head, right? So what determines what we experience in a field of infinite possibilities? What determines our experience of reality? Our state. And a big aspect of our state is how we're perceiving the world. And here's one of the conversations I had with Michael Beckwith, and here's what he said. I thought it was very insightful. He said, you do not describe what you see, rather you see what you describe. Meaning that we're not looking at our life and actually describing what's there. What's showing up for us is mirroring back our own state, our own consciousness, our own vibration. This is awesome news because it means that we have the power to shift our state and come into, here's the word that I resonate the most with when I think of gratitude. I think of attunement. Attunement with the gift of life. The realization that life is a gift and that we are experiencing this precious gift. And what gratitude does is it sets our life in order. It sets our life in order and brings us into a state of grace. Who would love more grace in their life? Good to see you, Astrid. Okay, so there's a big difference, right? Between vibing in states of gratitude versus vibing in reaction, lack, worry, stress, not enoughness. So when we elevate our vibe into not just feeling gratitude, being in a state of gratitude. There's a difference. There's a difference between feeling thankful, feeling grateful, and being grateful. There's very powerful distinctions. So a spiritual teacher once said, I love this quote, I'm inspired to share it with you, that the mind is nothing but subtle matter. It can be changed. And once you have a different mind, you have a different world because you look through the mind. So the world that you're currently seeing, you see because of a particular mind. Change the mind, and where you look, there's a different world. So who would love to be even more skilled? Because it is a practice. Gratitude is a practice. It's a skill that is developed. Who would love to be even more skilled at embodying gratitude regardless of what's happening around you? Not a relative gratitude that, oh, things happen. I remember I went to the coffee shop not too long ago, and as I'm in the coffee shop, there's a gentleman in front of me, and I could tell by his physiology that he was kind of slunched over and he was looking down. So I kind of just tapped him on the shoulder and just said, good morning. And he looked at me and he put his hand out like this and he says, can't talk to you, haven't had my coffee yet. And I was like, okay. So all of a sudden he walks to the counter and he has one of these long orders. Who knows these long orders at Starbucks? I'll have a triple latte, double shot with a, extra whipped cream, like a super long order. And sure enough, the barista hands him the coffee. And all of a sudden when he gets his coffee, I saw his whole demeanor change. He went from like down like this to he looked at his coffee and all of a sudden he lit up. And he smiled and he put his shoulders back and he started walking out the door and he looked at me and he was like, and he pointed at me and he goes, you have a great day. And then he turns and he takes a sip of his coffee and he realized that he got the wrong drink. And then his whole demeanor went back, and he walked up to the lady in the front. He's like, this is not the drink I ordered. And I literally watched him go from this very disconnected, dense state to this state of enthusiasm back to the dense state in reaction to what was happening around him. Who would love to anchor in a state of authentic, true grace and gratitude where it doesn't matter what's happening around you? You are in the Doesn't mean there's not going to be pain. Doesn't mean there's not going to be moments of suffering. It's just you're anchored in this state of grace, regardless of what's happening around you. What a blessing that is. So I thought that he was an insightful teacher. So I'm going to be giving you some practices that you can apply today to enrich being, truly being in the frequency. Think of everything as frequency. Okay, as Nikola Tesla said. So gratitude, and this is a definition from Robert Emmons, who's a world-leading scientific expert on gratitude, says gratitude is an affirmation of goodness. So it's acknowledging that there's things in the world that are good. Often there's things that come from within us, but also there's recognizing that there's good that comes from outside of us, the goodwill of others, the blessings in nature, the goodness in spiritual attunement, in the higher, who's had miracles happen in their life, where you look and you're like, wow, this is a miracle, the blessing of these miracles. So as we really tap in to this energy of gratitude, here's what the etymology, I always love to go to the origin of words, and I'm giving you some expanded etymologies here, but it's to recognize goodness and to rejoice in it. Who would love some celebration, more celebration in your life? And as I'm sharing these with you, I very purposely put an image of a woman with a violin there. And the reason why I put that there is because we are instruments. And you are a unique instrument. There is no one on earth like you. No one has your unique expression, your way of shining light, your way of bringing your gifts into the world, your life's experiences. You are a unique, sublime instrument of the divine. That's who you are. Now, what happens with an instrument if it's not tuned? You could have the most, supremely created instrument that is not attuned, and what happens? It's not going to play the most beautiful music. So gratitude is a practice of attunement. And like I said, at the end, I'm going to give you specific practices. Let's understand what it is. It's an attunement to recognize the goodness inherent in all existence and to rejoice in it, to literally have a praise and celebration for the gift of life, the blessings and the challenges. I'm going to add and the challenges, to value highly, value life, yourself, your work. Who's had it easier to have gratitude for others? I'm curious, rather than for even yourself, your own creations, your own work. Who's found that to be easier? So with gratitude, it's a sense of being fully conscious. And what happens with gratitude is it expands our awareness. One way that we know when we're in gratitude, we're in this state of expansion. And when we are not in the attunement and gratitude, there's more of a contraction. So you could recognize that. Here's a power practice. I'm going to start giving you power practice. I saved them for the end, but I'm going to start giving them to you now, is opening and being available. That is a very powerful key to gratitude, because a lot of times people desire something in life. They desire more love. They desire more success, but then they're not as available to it. All of a sudden, love shows up and they're like, not as available. So becoming available to the gift of life. Gratitude brings us into a higher realm of existence. It deepens our connections. It deepens our understanding. It brings us into an awareness of the unity that flows in as and through all existence. I mean, everyone, just place your hands on your heart for a moment. Okay. The same life force that is beating your heart, think about this right now. Not some airy fairy idea, but the same life force that is beating your heart is beating my heart. And let's just breathe into that. The same life force that is breathing you is breathing everyone in existence. And often we get so caught up in this illusion, this very persistent illusion of separation. Anything that you could desire to create in life is going to require connections, yes? And these connections are strengthened. They're fortified through the power of awareness, grace, and gratitude. So you guys are still holding your hearts. I love it. Okay. So with gratitude, we recognize the unity that flows in as and through all existence. It brings us into alignment. It brings us into attunement with our highest self, the most enlightened and creative expression of who we really are. And that happens as we come into the present moment. We open our hearts, open our minds, and really be present to the gift that is life. So gratitude has power to heal wounds, to energize, and to inspire. To That's a big one. It has the power to heal, and really bring healing in. And what I'm inspired to share is the importance of having gratitude, not just in the best times, but gratitude in the challenging times. I'll tell you a quick story. I remember years ago, I got invited to speak at the opening of Success Magazine. It was a really big deal. They were having like 5,000 people come to Anaheim, and they were doing a tribute to Jim Rohn. Who remembers Jim Rohn? He is like one of the original pioneers. So much gratitude for Jim. And I was the opening speaker. I was opening the day. And the only time in my entire life, career, I've had this company for 25 years. If some of us are meeting for the first time, by the way, I've launched my company 25 years ago. How many of us are meeting for the first time? I see a lot of familiar faces in here from our community. So good to see you. So I am scheduled to speak at this event, and it's the only time in my entire life that I got laryngitis. Can you guys believe that? I'm getting ready to speak in front of 5,000 people, and I'm talking like this. You can't even get a word out. And they're freaking out. They're like, oh my gosh, our opening speaker can't speak. And all of a sudden, we have a dinner the night before, and I've got you a picture of this dinner so you could really tune into the power of the story. You might be familiar with some of these amazing experts that are here. This was the dinner the night before where I couldn't speak. Who recognizes John Maxwell over at the right? He's one of the world's leading experts on that leadership. You might recognize Dennis Waitley, who's a pioneer in the personal development industry, along with Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar and many others. You might recognize right next to me Joseph McClendon. He's the one that does all the events with Tony Robbins and speaks on most of Tony's stages consistently. So there I was, and John's looking at me going, I'll take your spot. I'll take your spot. And they're feeling very concerned about this. And I remember being so grateful that I had this opportunity to open the day for someone that I respected and loved so much, Jim Rohn. He's a legend. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful. And then all of a sudden, from this space of total gratitude, I was like, oh my gosh, I hit anxiety. I was like, I can't talk. Who's had those moments where all of a sudden another emotion is coming in and eclipsing your gratitude? Okay. Here's a power practice. When I was focused on me, oh my gosh, my voice, and I'm not, my voice isn't intact. And when my attention was on me, I was getting disconnected. And I was feeling anxious about the whole experience. Then all of a sudden, I started focusing on the gratitude. I started focusing on connecting with every being that was in that room before they even arrived, why they were there, what was their purpose, their family, their kids, their reason for being, and began to tap in to this incredible power of gratitude. I'll tell you, an amazing thing happened. I remember when Darren Hardy, who's the publisher of Success Magazine, he introduced me, his voice was cracking. And he was like, oh, we've got Niurka here and her voice is not 100%. And he invited me to the stage. And I remember anchoring in, not just to gratitude, to faith. Those were my two frequencies that I was anchored into, faith and gratitude. And for me personally, they go together. And I know that very few experts on gratitude talk about faith in relation to gratitude, but it was this faith and this knowing that I was there for a purpose and that I was there to serve. And from this place of service and purpose, that something would be revealed, that a miracle, and I use the word miracle in the sense, but something good, because we talk about the affirmation of goodness, would happen regardless of my voice. And I walked onto the stage and I leaned into the front and I began the presentation in a whisper. I asked everybody to lean in like this. And all of a sudden I saw 5,000 people at the Anaheim Convention Center go, and they all leaned in. And all of a sudden, they were on the edge of their seat because they had to really listen to catch every word. And then towards the end, I started talking about, like, my end line was about the powers of faith and gratitude. And I delivered my heartfelt, soulful message that I had prepared for this group. And in that moment, I witnessed a, like, it was a, who's been to those sporting events where there's like a wave? It was a standing ovation. And what it was people could feel my pain, they could feel my struggle, but they could feel my devotion, and they could feel my gratitude for being there. And this is the power of gratitude. I actually brought a picture for you, and the awareness that in the midst of any challenge, there's me without a voice and me with all the other experts on stage. It's tuning in to this incredible power. And regardless of what's happening around you, it's becoming the thermostat in the room. See, we have a choice to be either the thermometer or the thermostat. And a lot of people are the thermometer. So, they go into a space and whatever energy is there, that's what they read on the temperature of their being. But with gratitude, you could walk into a space and you become the thermostat in the room. You become here, I got a slide for you on it. You become the influencing factor. You become the attunement that all of a sudden raises the vibration in the room. Have you ever been in a funk and someone walks in and they're in a total state of love and gratitude? Who's ever had that happen? And it like shifts your state just being in their field. Now, the key thing is it's true, authentic gratitude. I'm going to bring those distinctions in right now. It's not a surface level transactional thank you. Okay. That's a real important distinction. Let me see. So in gratitude, there's an awareness of being both the receiver and the giver. This is the identity in the power of gratitude. We're receiving. Who's had difficulty receiving in the past? Anybody's had like a desire to receive, but you've had difficulty receiving? Does anybody have difficulty receiving love? Difficulty receiving in a particular recognition? Anybody had difficulty receiving compliments? Has anyone ever given you a compliment and you're like, oh no, not, they're like, you look great. You're like, oh, this whole thing. Now, who's done that before? Okay, so here's a power practice. Mark, I see you pointing at yourself. Can today be the last day that you do that? Okay, I'm going to be witnessing you. Today's the last day. So here's a power practice. Next time someone gives you a compliment, inhale and receive it fully. Make a decision right now that I'm going to be open, available, and receive compliments and not ever negate one. Even if you think it's not accurate. Someone says, oh, you look like you've lost weight and you haven't lost weight. Say thank you. Maybe there was something else that they noticed. So can we all commit to receiving compliments? And then another power practice, since we're on this one now, is give compliments, but don't just give the obvious ones. Like really tune in to something unique, something that's different, something that's special when you connect with people and you could share with them. That is a way of giving a gift. You can give a gift as a compliment. So the identity, a grateful identity, a grateful state of being is a giver and a receiver both. Okay, receiving the gifts and then giving the gifts. So as a power practice, since we're here now, let me just share this now. Get in the habit. Like for example, next time you go to the store and there's a bunch of cards, go ahead and buy a bunch of cards just so you have them handy. That's a power practice. Then all of a sudden you want to give someone a thank you note that's thoughtful, or you just want to recognize someone or appreciate someone. I have a whole entire stack of cards for all different types of occasions that are here. So I don't have to go on a hunt for a card. When you show up, since we're talking about the identity of gratitude, the identity of being grateful, make it a habit, make it a practice wherever you go in life to show up with a gift. It doesn't have to be something like super big. You could show up with a flower. You could show up with a coffee. You could show up with a, a, a little note. You could show up with something simple. But this gift of giving activates a beautiful, generous energy within you. And it comes, here's the key thing, to have it come from a genuine place that is not transactional, because we live in a world where when someone does something nice for you, it's polite to say thank you. So thank you is the kind response in the moment, but that's not gratitude. Okay. So thankfulness is like you're appreciating something in the moment, it's fleeting, and then it's gone. And sometimes it's more transaction. When I say transactional, I mean if you're walking down the street and somebody holds the door open for you, it's like an autopilot type response. We automatically say thank you. And you can feel deep appreciation for that, but the deeper appreciation, gratitude moves you. It moves you emotionally and it lingers. It doesn't like, thank you, and then you're off to something else. It stays with you. I remember when I first bought my house here in Colorado and I moved to the mountains and we had the first snowstorm. I have a neighbor a few doors down who came with his big snowmobile. I didn't ask him to. He just came and plowed. I have a huge driveway. He came and he plowed my entire driveway. And I remember feeling so grateful and just so taken care of. And I was like, wow, this man just came over here and did this out of the kindness of his heart. And I remember I went out that night to dinner and I bought him and his wife a gift certificate because I wanted to, say something like, thank you so much. Go have this amazing dinner with your wife. But I was deeply moved and it was a personal experience. And I'm about to give you some distinctions about what the research shows with gratitude. Because it's that level of being deeply moved, a deep felt state that permeates your entire being, your soul, and your daily life. And then it becomes this, it's a way of being. It's a very powerful way of experiencing life attuned, and it cannot be imposed. Gratitude cannot be imposed. It must arise genuinely. And it's not about being grateful for everything. Okay. There's some things in life that we're not grateful for, but it's about being grateful in everything. Did you get that distinction? This was something that was shared specifically by one of the world's leading experts in gratitude. So we're grateful in it, but we're not grateful for it. Okay. And gratitude exists in moments of pain. It exists in moments of suffering. I remember when my father was dying and I was so deeply sad. It was like the saddest day of my life. He died from stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And I was right at his bedside as he was crossing over. And I was midwifing him to the other side of the veil, right there by his side. And I remember feeling the pain of his suffering and also feeling the gratitude in our love. It was this simultaneous moment. Who knows what I'm talking about here, where you have that simultaneous, like, pain and love and they're happening in that moment. So gratitude is not just about positive feelings, feel happy, just be grateful. As a matter of fact, I'm going to talk about some misuses of gratitude in a moment, because sometimes people misuse gratitude, where let's say somebody could be in a moment of suffering and they just say, oh, well, just look at the bright side and be grateful for this. So modern term for it is more toxic gratitude, or spiritual bypassing even is a term that is often used. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. It's deep. Gratitude is deep, it's moving, it's lasting. It's deep, moving, and lasting. So I think I already talked about this one, but I had created a slide. So for those of you that are visual, I'd love to share it with you. So the difference between feeling grateful, which is more temporary, versus being grateful. And being grateful also is the identity. If you've been in class with me before, you've seen this diagram, creating alignment. And at the bottom is environment or results. And a lot of times people come to me because they want to change something in their environment or their results. But it's our state of being that influences everything that shows up in our lives. So here's what research shows to enhance a true, authentic, genuine gratitude practice in your life. So genuine gratitude is most powerful when, number one, it's very specific. It's not like, oh, I'm grateful for everything. And yes, there's blessings of being grateful for the gift of life, but it's being specific. For example, I just gave you that example with my neighbor. That was very specific. He came over and he did this thing. I had an experience that was deeply personal. I was like, oh, wow, I just moved to this neighborhood and this person came over here and did this very nice thing for me. So it was deeply personal for me. Also, why is it moving you specifically? Being present to why are you being moved and being present and aware to that. And it creates that deep, sustainable state of well-being, goodwill. Here's some of the other amazing benefits of the power of gratitude, living with gratitude. Who likes all the specific tangible benefits? I could have done more slides than this for this one because there are so many. And now neuroscience is really seeing that gratitude isn't just this. Let me come back here and say neuroscience is seeing that gratitude isn't just this airy fairy feel good emotion, that it rewires your brain. Okay, rewires your brain for greater well-being. And right now we are working with world-leading neuroscientists. We have a collaboration and a partnership that we've forged with the NPN Institute, which is the Institute of Applied and Organizational Neuroscience, where we are working with world-leading experts. Matter of fact, we had a session today. Who was in the session today in our membership program where we had a session with a world-leading neuroscience expert in child psychology and also in gut-brain health? That's what we were talking about today. And by the way, that's a super important foundational piece because we want to vibrate in gratitude. But if you're eating processed foods and Skittles and donuts and things of this nature, it's going to impact your frequency. It's going to impact your frequency. So today we had a very powerful discussion in our membership about the gut-brain health and how it impacts every single aspect of your well-being and your life. So gratitude strengthens our immune system. It improves our vitality, lowers blood pressure, improves sleep, enhances well-being, inspires positive emotions, brings greater levels of satisfaction, optimism, increases happiness, joy, decreases stress, anxiety, depression, develops deep, authentic, better relationships. It inspires you to become more generous, more compassionate, more available to others, makes you better in your work, in your creation, with your teams, all aspects of your life. Okay. Who's fired up? Who's like ready for more power practices to vibe in this awesome power of gratitude? Let me do a quick check-in real quick. How are we doing in the chats? Share with me in 1 or 2 words how you doing in the chats, because I've been so focused, I haven't been keeping an eye on those chats. Okay. Love it. Love you. Awesome. Beautiful. Would you guys like to explore some misuses of gratitude? Some ways in which gratitude is misused? Okay. So, I got some slides. Gratitude is often or can be, and hang on a second. My slide deck. Okay. So misuses. So someone could be focusing on everything they're grateful for while ignoring or avoiding what's not working. So let's say that they have something in their business, or they working at a job that they don't like, or they don't feel appreciated, or they don't feel valued. But they're like, oh, everything's okay. You know, I'm grateful. I'm just grateful to have this opportunity, or I'm grateful for this. Who's done that before or has seen that in others where something is not working, but the person just is like, oh, it's okay, I'm grateful for this. So they're using gratitude as a way to uh, lower their own standard in a way of what they desire to have or create in their business, in their work, in their relationships, or in their life. So they use gratitude as a way of like lowering their standard. That is an example of misuse of gratitude. Another example of misuse is where gratitude becomes a justification to just do nothing or not move forward or to be stuck, where someone says, that's okay, I'm comfortable with this amount of income, or I'm comfortable in this house. Let's say they're in a home that they don't really love, but they're, instead of saying, you know what, here's a power practice. Instead of saying, oh, I'm just so grateful, say, you know what, you can even use the word thankful, has a different frequency than grateful. So you could say, you know what, I'm thankful that I've had this home up until now, and now I'm really focused on bringing my gifts into the world in a way that creates value so that I generate the return to buy the home that is in alignment with what I vision, with what I'm inspired to create, with what I desire in my life. So you can acknowledge something and then declare what your next level creation is. So there's an acknowledgement, but not using gratitude to make something that is not in alignment for you seem like it is in alignment for you. Is that helpful? Has anybody done that before? I've noticed in the past I've done that. I remember in the early years, I'd be like, okay, or I've even caught myself doing that at times where I go, oh, I'm grateful for this. I go, no, wait a minute. Okay, yes, there is appreciation on this, and let's shift that. So, has anyone ever used gratitude to transcend uncomfortable emotions rather than just being present with those emotions? Has that ever happened? Where someone's feeling, I see some heads nodding, others not so much. So one of the most important things is being present to whatever emotion shows up, being able to recognize that. We were actually talking about that today in our session with the expert who was talking about the importance of having the distinction to name certain emotions. Because when we don't have distinctions to name certain emotions, the amygdala could take over. This would take me into a different topic, but we talked about that today specifically in the membership, a part of your brain that is more responding to potentially fight or flight. So another way where gratitude can be misused is I see this with parents. Has anybody ever, or did anyone grow up in a household where it was like, eat everything on your plate, you better be grateful, there are starving people, and all of a sudden gratitude is used as a way of either shaming someone or getting someone to do what you want them to do? These are examples of misuses. Or the final one that I'll share is projecting positivity on someone when they're going through a very challenging moment, rather than just being present with them and letting them know that you're there to support them. Okay. So, incredible power of gratitude. All right, so let me give you some more power practices. Sit up tall in your chair, everyone. Elongate your spine and open your heart center. Okay, so just feel a sense of expansion in your body. That's a power practice, by the way. So being present of being aware of your state, being aware of your physiology, being aware of your body supports you in attuning into gratitude. For example, if you're collapsed in on yourself, it's not as effective as when you come into a state of expansion in your body, because how you move your body influences your perception. How you move your body influences how you feel. So one is be mindful of your body. Actually, I didn't have this one in my original power practices I was going to share with you, but based on the session we had earlier today, I'm going to add this one in. Be mindful of your nutrition, because your nutrition is absolutely influencing your thoughts, straight up. And we talked about that today. I mean, what we talked about today with the special guest expert in the session was how your gut has a response before your brain recognizes it. And we literally went into the science of this today. So your gut recognizes this. So feed yourself whole, organic, healthy, conscious foods, which is, I'm going to share, is a challenge in the United States because there's so much processed foods. And when you're eating, here's a power practice, and we shared this today with the expert. Eliminate all distractions and allow your eating to become a ritual of gratitude. The time where you're eating. How many of you have been eating while doing other things? Anybody be eating while they're over here sending an email or having a bite of their sandwich while they're doing something? Who's had that happen? She even gave today, in today's session, she even gave the example of parents who are at a restaurant and the child is eating while they're on an iPad. And the example she gave today was that the likelihood of addiction increases 100% when that is happening. Because, I mean, think about it. What is a child? If a child is being fed food or eating their food while they're looking at an iPad, what is the deeper, more subtle message? The deeper, more subtle message is this food that you're eating is not that important or valuable. But what you're getting is these dopamine hits from the iPad. So all of a sudden, there's like these inner, it's not allowing the nourishment of the food to fully and completely be received in a way that's going to create the greatest well-being. It's being interrupted, where all of a sudden the child then is going to crave these dopamine hits. And it's not just a child, it could be an adult who's watching the news or watching the multitasking while they're eating. So here's another power practice. Are you guys writing down the power practices? Are you writing them down? Let me know in the chats because I want to see. Oh my goodness, you had TV dinners in front of TV. I actually had that when I was a kid. We grew up, my parents immigrated to the United States from Cuba, and they were, they cooked at times, but sometimes we had those TV dinners. Who had those TV dinners in front of the TV? Not a good plan. So anyways, here's the power practice. Actually, I'm going to go one step even deeper. When you're making food, allow that to be a sacred ritual. It doesn't have to be something, airy-fairy. Put some music on. Allow an energy of love and gratitude and grace because your meal is infused with the energy of the one who cooks it. Okay? So come into a space, burn some incense, put on some awesome music, come into that space of appreciation and really appreciate. Here's a power practice. When you have all your ingredients in front of you and you're going to make a meal, appreciate, realize that that produce had to come through someone's hands who had to go through a certain process. It's like we tune in to the energy of this. Think about how many hands had to serve, the power of service in order for you to even have these ingredients to make this meal. So it's like we can all tune in. How easy can you tune in just for a moment and start recognizing all of the beings that have had to contribute to you being able to have this meal? Then from there, you make the meal in this space of love. Then when you eat, you shut off all distractions and you are present to the nourishment and gratitude. And you just have this be a power practice. So then it's like, okay, when I'm eating, I'm eating. When I'm working or creating, or developing or implementing or launching or doing whatever I'm doing that. But I'm doing what I'm doing. And this is what greatest spiritual teachers talk about, is the power of being in the present moment. Okay, so on a scale from 0 to 10, 10 being I'm totally committed. I know it's a challenging commitment for some of you. Who's committed to implement the power practice of mindful eating with gratitude? Who's committed to implement the power practice of mindful cooking, mindful eating with gratitude? Okay. So here's another power practice. Go into nature. Nature, the beauty, the healing power of nature. Matter of fact, you could all sit up tall. Go into nature in your mind right now, just for a moment. Just sit up tall and just inhale a breath and close your eyes. Just go into your favorite place in nature, whatever that is for you. Maybe it's the mountains. Maybe it's the ocean. Maybe it's the forest, and just go into the space in nature. Maybe it's the deserts. And you arrive in your mind, just be present, be still, and feel the beauty and the gratitude that you have for all of nature. Feel the beauty and the gratitude that you have for the animals and for the spirit of nature. And just look around in your mind's eye and just tune in. How wonderful it is to be in nature. How wonderful it is to be in the present moment. How wonderful it is to appreciate this gift of life. So nature is a very powerful power practice. And here's another distinction you can do. Take off your shoes, take off your socks, and ground into Mother Earth. Like literally feel you. We all come from the earth. We are birthed through the Great Mother. And it's like we live in environments that sometimes disconnect us from nature. So the importance of grounding, connecting, tuning in to the wisdom of nature. Here's another power practice. Whatever you desire to create, to experience, to achieve, to have. How many of you have something that you want that feels like you don't have it right now? Who's got something that you desire, you want, and it feels like it's just out of reach, you don't have it? Anybody have that? Start appreciating what you desire in others. Start appreciating it. For example, if you want to be in a loving, juicy, romantic relationship, when you see other people in a juicy, romantic relationship, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Be grateful for it. Honor it. Sometimes when a person sees someone in a juicy, romantic relationship and they think, oh, there it is again, I don't have it. So what they're doing is they're in that moment unconsciously, they're activating the absence of something rather than tuning into the presence. Tuning into the presence is, look, that love is right here. It's coming closer every minute. There it is right in front of my face. That's the power of the shift. So the shift is like we're retraining our brain with gratitude, we're retraining our brain to scan the field of infinite possibilities and focus our attention because it's all available. In the field of infinite possibilities, it's all available. We're training our brain, we're rewiring our brain to scan the field of infinite possibilities and tune into what is good, what is true and wonderful in life, which is always available. So for example, next time, who wants greater wealth? You want greater wealth, prosperity, money? Make sure you're raising your hand on that question, okay? Because your subconscious mind is listening. You want to be like, I am full body yes on all wealth. Now, sometimes I've seen people that desire wealth, but when they see others that have wealth, they criticize it. Or they have negative things to say about it. Or they have negative things to say about how that person achieved that level of wealth. So here's the power practice. Whatever you desire in life, appreciate it. If you want financial wealth, if you want luxurious things, if you want a dream home and the most epic cars and all of this and the best trips, appreciate that in others. Begin to recognize that. Say, you know what? That is so awesome that you've got that going on. And then get curious about their process. That's another powerful thing, is curiosity. If you want to, who'd like to be even more aligned with their purpose, their life purpose, their mission, and be totally in tune with your purpose and mission in life? Start appreciating people who are. Like there's people that hate online. They do, they talk on the haters and this and that, but they're negatively saying things about people that are living the embodiment of what at some level they desire to have. So appreciate it. Okay. So for example, let's say that you're at a restaurant. I use the example of love, so I'll use one final example of appreciating it. Let's say you're at a restaurant and all of a sudden you see there's a couple on the other side of the restaurant and you could tell they're leaning in, they're totally present, they're in a state of juicy love. You can look at that and you can appreciate it and go, see, it's right here. It's right here in the field. It's present. It's available. The next time you know, the next time you look, that table with the two people that are in love is going to be a few tables closer. You're like, hey, wait a minute. I was just at a restaurant a couple days ago. Now, look, they're two tables down. They're in love. The next time you go to the restaurant, they're right next to you. You're like, wow, here they are. Next time it's you. Okay. You're like, I'm the one at a restaurant having the juicy love. So the power practice is appreciate whatever you desire. Here's the other practice: become whatever you feel is missing in the moment. So let's say that you want more, let's say you are in a relationship, but you want more passion. So there's people that are like, I want more passion. There's not passion in this relationship. I need more passion. Become passion. And then bring passion to the relationship. So you're becoming the energy, you're appreciating that energy that you feel is missing, and you can bring that into the space. That's a little distinction more than gratitude, but it's like you're becoming the energy that you desire to have, and you're bringing that into the space. Okay. Beautiful. How many of you have someone who has done something that has been really meaningful in your life and you haven't yet thanked them? Who's got somebody that, and maybe it was years ago, they did something that really changed your life. And here's a challenge, a loving challenge I'm going to give to everyone. I'm going to invite everyone after this session, within the next 24 hours, to write a gratitude note to someone in your life. I'm sure everybody's got someone that they could write a gratitude note to. You know, a little bit about my background is I was a teenage runaway. And then I ended up going back and I went to community college. I actually got my GED and started community college before my class had graduated high school because I felt like such a loser for doing that. And I remember I signed up for my first English class. And there was a professor, he had like this Einstein-like hair. He was from Yale, and his name was Dr. Breedenberg. And I dropped out of high school. I had a 1.6 GPA. I was a runaway. I had all of this stuff that I was navigating. And he asked me right after just started class, he asked me to stay after class. And I thought to myself, oh boy, there I did it again. What did I do wrong this time? And he said something to me that no one had ever said to me before. He looked at me and he said to me, Niurka, you're brilliant. You shouldn't be in this class. You should be in the honors class. He said, I'm going to take you to the dean and I'm going to have him introduce you and we're going to get you in the honors program. That was so huge for me. No one had ever said that to me before. And it just touched my heart. It's so deep. Then he took me to the dean of the honors program. And the dean said to me, he says, on Dr. Breedenberg's recommendation, we're going to put you in the honors program and we're going to pay all your tuition, all your books. Now, meanwhile, I was working multiple jobs just to put myself through college. And all of a sudden they paid for everything. And I was like, and I ended up running and becoming student body president. This was the largest community college in the United States, Miami-Dade Community College. And then from there, I ended up leaving and I ended up working with Tony Robbins and I became Tony's record-breaking #1 trainer. And then I launched my company in the year 2000 and all of this. But I share this story with you because Dr. Breedenberg saw something in me that I didn't see in myself at the time. He saw something in me and he called it out. He shared it. He didn't hold back. So you have the power to be a Dr. Breedenberg in someone's life. And I remember years later because I thanked him in the moment, but I didn't realize I was so grateful, yes, but the trajectory of decades later and to look back at that magic moment and to go, wow, you were an influential person on my journey. And I am so grateful, so deeply grateful for you. Who are these people? Let me ask you this and put it in the chats. Who's one person that you can be so grateful for that you're going to write a thank you note for? Whoever it is, you could just abbreviate if you don't want to share who it is, but pick a specific person right now. I remember a few years ago, I called my friend Sam. He's an example of somebody who I'm so grateful for. Sam was the CEO and the general counsel of all of Tony Robbins' companies. And years ago, I called him. It was about, gosh, I don't even remember, like 12 years ago, I called him because I needed help in my business. And he came in and he supported me at such a deep level, and the level of gratitude, like a gratitude that moves you. Who's got someone in your life or something where you're like, I would not be who I am. I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for this reflection of what you've brought into my life. Like this sacred connection has just uplifted everything. Like I am so grateful for you. Who has that? Okay, so power practice, you're going to write them a thank you note. And if they're no longer with us, write them a thank you note anyways, even if they're no longer with us. Okay. All right, so I've got some special announcements that I'm going to be making here in a moment. So let me give you a couple more power practices, and then I've got something extraordinary that I've put together for you. Actually, I'm just going to give you one more. Maybe I already brought this one. I already said this one, is make it a habit to bring a gift. Make it a habit to bring an offering. Like I lead experiences to Bali, Indonesia, and I've taken several groups. I'm taking another group in 2027. And in Bali, when you show up to the temples, it is a practice to always bring an offering. You never show up without an offering. So it's like when you're going to someone's home, or you're going to dinner, where you're going somewhere, make it a practice to bring a gift. So beautiful ones. How are we doing now that we're tuned in to this amazing power of gratitude, being in the presence, having these power practices? How are you feeling? Share with me in the chats. Where's your energy? Where's your state? Where's your frequency? And so we're talking about the power of gratitude. Awesome. Softer. Yay. I love it. Grateful. High. Really peaceful. Vibrational focus. I'm grateful for you, beautiful. I'm so grateful. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I've put something very special together for you, and you're the first to hear about it. It's our Luminous. We call it Luminous because that's what it is. It's our Luminous Black Friday sale, and we only have one thing that we're offering. And I'm excited to share it with you first. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up for some Q&A, because I'd love to hear whatever questions you have about gratitude, about practicing gratitude, about gratitude in the midst of challenges, things of this nature, whatever that may be. So we have an amazing Q&A session prepared. So the offer that we have for Black Friday, who in the room is a member of Manifestors Alliance? Raise your hand if you're a member of Manifestors Alliance. Okay. Who in the room has no idea what I'm talking about? You're like, what's Manifestors Alliance? Okay. So Manifestors Alliance is our monthly membership program. And I'm going to share something, as my team has put this beautiful page together specifically to celebrate Black Friday. They'll drop the link in a moment, but first let me share with you. This is a dynamic, transformational membership. It's an ecosystem that elevates your mind, your strategies, and your results. And since we have some members, maybe a few of them will be inspired to share about their experience. Here's how the membership works. Every month in this membership, we have a new theme. Like this month, we're focused on neuroplasticity, how to rewire your brain for success and fulfillment. Previous months, we've talked about the power of identity, the power of questions. By the way, that's another power practice, which I had in my notes, but we didn't have that much time to get into, is that the quality of the questions you ask. What questions are you asking? Are you asking questions that expand possibility or that create contraction? So that's an example of a topic, the power of questions, the power of identity. So every month we have a new theme, and we focus on this theme for the month. The first Wednesday of the month, I teach for an hour of power. It is a 1-hour teaching specifically on this month, on the first Wednesday of the month. Then the second Thursday of the month, I do a 90-minute hands-on coaching, training, Q&A, where you bring all your questions about the monthly theme and we coach you on it. So it is hands-on coaching. We're together every week for an hour of power, except the Thursday is 90 minutes. Then the third Wednesday of the month, we have an amazing special guest. And we're building this incredible faculty of experts and special guests that we have. And I shared with you about the woman that came in today. We've had experts in entrepreneurs. Brian Tracy's been a guest. Who's familiar with the legendary Brian Tracy, who's a dear friend of mine. We've had John Asseroff. Actually, John's been in other events. He's going to be a guest coming up. John's a dear friend of mine. We do a lot of work together. We've had Greg Reed. You may know him, the millionaire mentor. We've had amazing, extraordinary special guests. And then the last Wednesday of the month, we do an interactive breakout session that integrates the entire month's teachings. The power of this is it is a very strategic, focused place where we come together in community, where you dedicate 1 hour a week or an hour and a half on that second week of the month. And it's like going to the gym. It's like going to the gym for your mind, going to the gym for your soul, going to the gym for your being. And it is life-changing to have a power practice. So I'm curious if any of the members that are in the room would love to share about your experience in the membership. It would be awesome. We'd love to hear from you. Diane, I see you're there, and it's such a joy. Share with us, where were you before the membership? Because it's been so awesome for me to see your growth. And then what's happened since you've been in the membership? Because you show up every week and you are ready.
Set, dress, ready to go every week. I was really struggling financially and health wise, and I just kind of lost it. And my oldest daughter said, "Why don't you start taking classes again? That's when you accelerate." And I think she even asked about your class. And I'm like, hello. So I signed up. I'm showing up. I show up every week. And being self employed and being single, I don't have anybody to really throw out ideas. And I feel like there's a community. So coming to these classes is investing in me, investing in my growth. I
And what's
couldn't do it
happened?
alone.
Yeah, what's happened?
Oh,
What results? What are the results you got?
raised my prices. I'm showing up. My mind is just brilliant. Um, I've
You've had
just
your best,
leveled up.
you've leveled up. You had your best, either your best month, your best,
Oh yeah, yeah.
tell me
My
about that.
best month was last month in probably 4 or 5 years.
I love
And
it.
that was before I raised my pricing.
Okay.
So, well, hello, money. I welcome you now.
I love it. So
I'm just
Diane is,
overly excited to be here.
oh, I love you. I'm so grateful for you. And just seeing her show up every single week. And
Every
then what is so powerful is that I'm literally seeing Diane show up,
Mhm.
receive the training, take the training, implement it in her life, and then show back up the next week. So now it's like, okay, she implemented the training. Now the second week, we're going into Q&A. We're going into coaching. Here's how I implemented it. Here's what's working. Here's what's not working. And then we're giving feedback. And then we have these amazing special guests. So thank you, Diane. Let's
Thank
see if
you.
we have some time for a few other shares. Would be awesome. Alana, how's the membership? And you could share before the membership. And then
Well,
what's the
I
greatest value you've received?
I mean, I've been involved in your courses for years. And so it's always great repeating them at all. When I get the weekly, I'm going to say pep talk because it's a pep talk to me and hearing the inspiration, I'm constantly lifted. So if during the week I have a dip, it comes right back up. I might have a dip, comes right back up, or I just show up because I had a great week. I have gratitude and I'm here for more.
I love
So
it.
I totally love the connection to the people I recognize, like Diane and Guy and Michael and so many others, Avi, that
And it creates a community. That's what you're hearing too. And then we hear all
yeah,
these people from around the world are coming together. Like I'll give you one example just recently. One student in the membership has a beautiful small boutique hotel in the mountains in Italy. And she was sharing about that. And another one of our students, who's a graduate of our courses, was like, I'm going to be in Italy. And all of a sudden he was like, I'm going to stay at your place. And they made the connection and they're going. They're going over there to Italy and they're skiing and they're staying at her resort. And these are just an example of the beautiful, powerful types of connection that happen when we're together in community. You're going to end up having friends from all over the world that are all in the same mindset of rising to the heights that we're destined for and supporting each other and celebrating each other along the way and being there for each other's greatest challenges, being there for each other. That's one of the power of it. Thank you, Alana. So let me
thank
share with
you.
you what it is, and then I'll love to have Lori and Paul share because I know they've been showing up and it's a joy to have them. So let me share with you what we've put together, and then we will have Lori and Paul. Actually, let me have Lori and Paul share first, and then I'll tell you because we put something special together. We'll have both of them share, then I'll tell you. Lori, how's the membership been for you? You could say
It's been,
before the membership, this is what was
yeah.
happening. Then I've been showing up and I've been getting my coaching because I know we've been doing lots of one-on-one coaching in there. And then what's changed?
Yeah, so for me, I'm relatively new, so I wanted to give my perspective to the community as well. I don't think I came in, I joined a masterclass like this in June or July, and then I became aware of the Manifestors Alliance. And what was really interesting was I think I did it for 1 or 2 months. And then the month of September, I was not in the group. So I guess I did July and August. And I was like lost. I was absolutely lost, spinning. And so I came back in October. And it's just what's so powerful about it as an entrepreneur, and I'm kind of in the same situation as Diane is, and my children are gone, and and I'm single also, and I don't have anybody to bounce things off of either. But what's so spectacular about this community and about your teachings is I really became aware of the connection between mind and skill.
Connection between
And you get both of them in huge doses in working with your work and what you teach. And the people around me in 4 or 5 months have said to me, you're a completely different person. You're so incredibly focused. You've been doing this work for 20 years, and you have so taken it to such an elevated level. Amazingly enough, that's the company name, Elevated Structures. And it's just amazing how it's all coming together as a result of being in the community, because you can take it and apply it, and it moves you forward with such speed.
I love that. That's exactly what it's designed to do. It's designed to move you forward with speed. It's designed to move you forward, progress, momentum, growth with velocity, which is speed and precision. Thank you, Lori. Give Lori some love. So here's what I'll share just to be mindful of our time. I'm going to share with you the special offers that we have, and then I'm really inspired to hear what Paul is going to share because he's been showing up consistently, and it's been a joy to have him and all of you in the session. So what you receive, like I said, is you get the weekly live sessions. There's a new monthly training, or excuse me, new monthly theme every month. We do a training on that theme. You get live Q&A. We get amazing, trusted, expert special guests. And here's one thing, I got to come out of this slide for a second to tell you about this. These special guests have I won't say all of them, but most of them are making themselves fully accessible. The one we had today invited everyone to call her personally and schedule a discovery session. So amazing, amazing value. And here's what it is. The integration breakout session, members only. And here's what you receive. You get the new monthly theme training. You get the live Q&A hands-on coaching. You get the special guest expert, the breakout session, the community that keeps you supported and accountable, integration assignments, and an exclusive dashboard. All your replays, handouts, everything is right there. And we have our best offers for everything is for our members. So the value monthly is over $1,800 monthly. What we've put together, special luminous Black Friday sale, is if you're new, you've never been in the membership, we have a new members only offer where you can enroll for just $97 and get 3 full months. Isn't that crazy? 97 bucks, you get 3 months. Or our best offer and what we recommend is the annual. So annually, this adds up to 1,800 times 12, which is over $21,000 of value. And you can take action right now during Black Friday for just $888. And that is for the whole year. Those are our angel numbers for the whole year. You're a member for the whole year. So it is a power place to be. Paul, share with us about your experience in Manifestors Alliance. And you could share if you like what was happening before you came to the Alliance, then you've come, what's changed. Good to be with you.
Thanks, Niurka. Yeah, I've been with the Alliance, I think, for about a year. And before I would hold back a lot. Since I've been there, I found myself just being much more engaged. And I don't know whether it's just been the topics, the community, but the support. And I've had more expensive coaches before. So the value for this is amazing. And it's thoughtful topics, but it's also been some really timely business topics for me. So some of you have heard, I sell residential real estate in the luxury market. I, have been wanting to put together a new brand for myself and have been really holding back. But we had a goal setting month, I think maybe September. And then I think October was branding. And that just kicked for me for exactly what I was doing. So, since then I've actually got my domain name bought. I've been meeting with the trademark stuff, so that's all being filed. I'll have the website being worked on in about a month. And then just we'll be launching that at the beginning of next year. So I'm really excited. And it's
I
been
love that.
such
It's been a joy to see you go through that too. And but I'm so thrilled that you're recognizing that, Paul, because we're being very strategic in how we're setting up those months so they build on each other. And we have a lot of, who's an entrepreneur in the room? Entrepreneurs, coaches, creators, visionaries. Okay, this is who the membership is for. So we did a month on goal setting, like Paul said. We did a month on your brand, your empire. We did a training a month this year on stories that sell. And we had the expert was the gentleman who wrote the very first NLP sales book, neuro linguistic programming sales book in history, Dr. Donald Moyne. And he came in and he talked about stories that sell. And then everyone had an opportunity to go craft their own stories that they can bring into their business. So it was like this, it was this process where on week one, we learned about stories that sell. And then everyone started creating their stories. Week two, we had the opportunity to ask those questions and get coaching on it. Week three, we had the expert to refine the stories that sell. And then week four, we had the breakout rooms where they could go in and integrate all of those key pieces. And we also had to, because I saw a few heads nodding when I mentioned NLP, we did a training. I don't remember which month this was, but it was on blind spots, like uncovering blind spots in the psyche. And we had a legendary guest. It was Connie Ray Andreas. She's one of the first NLP masters, pioneers in the world. Like, this woman walked together with the original creators of hypnotherapy. Well, original hypnotherapy has been around for a long time, but the modern hypnotherapy, I might be getting a little ahead for some of you, but like Milton Erickson and people of this nature, these are very powerful leaders. And we have all these experts in the community. So, all right. So I'm going to take any questions. If you guys have questions, you could raise your hand emoji up. I see Leighton's over there. So he's one of the members. So he might have something to share about the membership. But if you have any questions about the membership, I'd love to respond to your questions about the membership. And also I would love to respond to any questions you have just in general. If you have a question for me, I'm here to support and to serve you. Okay. Leighton, how's your experience in the membership bed? If you want to share before. And
yeah, well, I decided I wouldn't be going gently in the night, so here goes. It's what the words I was thinking of. It's a learning journey. It's like being in a buffet because it's a real smorgasbord. Every month is something new and something that we can all learn from. So that's pretty much what I have to say. It's I was thinking, and with Niurka, she's really super nice, but she has those moments when she'll slap you on the hand like the teacher.
Loving it.
So I love you, Niurka. You're terrific.
Oh, I love you, Leighton. So what starts happening too when you join the membership is I start getting to know you and getting to know about your business and what your vision is and what your goals are and what your challenges have been and where you could use the most support. So it really develops the relationship and it allows us to support you and for you to plug in. You have a place for you to plug in. It's like, how important is it to go to the gym? How important is it to work out? And what happens when you don't? Okay. It's like, there's a term in neuroscience, use it or lose it. So just like going to the gym, if you don't use your muscle, especially as we age, we lose it. Like our muscles is one of the keys to longevity. Skeletal muscle, healthy skeletal muscle is one of the keys to longevity. Well, this is the muscle of your mind, of your soul, of your being. So, okay. The days of the week, if you have any questions, you can let me know in the chats, or you can raise your hand emoji. You're happy to take questions. So we announce, here's how the flow works. So there's a very structured flow. On the first of the month, we announce the theme. So on the first of the month, you're going to receive an email with a short video, and we announce the theme. Here's the theme of the month. You know, that's what we're focused on. Then the first Wednesday of the month at 11 a.m. Pacific, I teach for an hour of power on that theme, science-backed, strategic. Then the second Thursday of the month, that's where it's 90 minutes. And that's where you bring your questions, bring your coaching requests, bring the areas where you would like support with in alignment with our theme. And that's 90 minutes. And then the third Wednesday of the month is when we have the special guest. A few times I've brought in guided visualization, transformational techniques instead of a guest, because it was totally in alignment with the teaching. And then the last week, it's also Wednesday at 11 a.m. All right, beautiful ones. Any questions on the membership? The team's going to drop the link. Make sure you guys have the link. If you're not in the membership, take action and join the membership. Okay. You can do 3 months for only $97, which is just crazy value. I suggest doing the entire year, because once you're in, you're not going to want to do what Lori did, where she got out and then was like, wait a minute, this is like, so it's an anchor is what it is. This weekly power practice becomes an anchor for success, fulfillment, and community. Okay. And those feedback loops are huge. Imagine the growth you're going to have. Yeah. So imagine 12 months from now. You know, we're in Thanksgiving 2025 is next week. Imagine Thanksgiving 2026. And we're looking back to the moment of now. And we're going, wow, look at all that we've accomplished. Look at all the new friends you've made. Look at all the new amazing beings that you have from around the world that you can now reach out to for connection, support, whatever that may be, collaboration. Okay. All right. Take action. There's the link. You'll be grateful you did. And do we have any other questions? I want to thank my team. Let's give my team a hand. They're here showing up with a heart of service, ready to do whatever it takes to support you on your journey. Good to see you, Harold. It's always a joy to see you. Hey, Julie. Questions?
Hello.
Hey.
It's so great to be with you again.
Oh, wonderful to be with you.
Feel your energy, see your face, everybody on here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
My question to you is well, let me try to be succinct. So I'm a shamanic healer.
Okay.
I guide people through plant medicine, Andean spiritual practice, and I also do neurotransformational coaching. So in terms of the membership, how would you see that fulfilling and filling my
Oh, totally. What a
practice?
great question. What a great question.
Thank
Well,
you.
because you're guiding people is what you're doing in this deep work. There's so much value in having different dimensions of understanding of other types of transformational processes or practices that can end up weaving in with what you're currently doing. So that's one area. Expanding the range of transformational processes, practices, understanding in other areas, understanding the neuroscience of what's actually happening while you're guiding these transformational experiences. Another benefit that you're going to get too, like what Paul was talking about, is understanding how to grow your business as a result of this. Is that important to you? Depends on your goals. So it's like, what is it that's most important to you? The membership really meets you where you're at. So it could expand your business growth, your business success, your clients, your brand, how you communicate who you are in the marketplace.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Are those things that are meaningful? And then Yeah. So those are just some dimensions of it. I'm mindful that the audience is entrepreneurs, coaches, visionaries, leaders, and in a number of different areas. So I'm very purposeful to think what is the most valuable and not just wisdom, but actionable, like
Mhm.
teachings that they can put into practice immediately to really move the needle. Like one of the monthly themes we had this month or this year was mastering the 80-20 rule.
Mhm.
That's something that applies for everyone. So it's like the Pareto principle, which is basically that 20% of our actions produce those 80% of the results. It's just one example. So it's like, that's an example that would benefit everyone in the room. But who wakes up in the morning going, I'm going to master the 80-20 rule? Like, people don't think about that, right? So then what we did was we had a very powerful practice to go, okay, what is the 20% that is the difference that makes the difference in your business? What is it for you, Julie? It might be different than what it is for Lori. It might be different than what it is for Jamie. So by guiding this teaching and being present to everyone, then you were able to get clear on what that is for you. And then here's the powerful thing: implement it right away. One of the things I love about the membership is that because we're together every week and we're only together for an hour. So it is like focused, very precise teaching, and then go implement.
Yeah.
And then let's come back next week just for an hour and then go implement. And then come back next week and then go implement. So that rhythm is very, it creates progress. It creates momentum. It creates growth.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to be involved in places that think outside of the box because I definitely don't fit in the box.
Well, you'll fit right in here. We're all out of the box kind of people.
Having someone
So
ever graduated, ran away, very similar stuff than you experienced. So I appreciate your story
you
and
got it.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
come join the membership. The price is going to be going up, so you want to take action now. The
Okay.
value is beyond what we're charging people. And we're inspired to do it because we're inspired to grow this powerful, amazing community. So if you guys have, any other questions on the membership, I want to make sure your questions are answered so you could come join the empowerment party, okay? Because that's what it is. And we do things for the members that we don't do for the rest of the community. And we're ramping up to do even more coming into 2026. So Lolita. Hi, Lolita.
Hello. So that I am really clear, so there is the business component of it, and then there's the neuroscience component of it as well.
And a
Okay.
transformational component.
And
So
okay, and the transformation. Okay, very good. Because I'm going to join. I know already, but I was sitting here thinking, I was like, what other memberships can I let go? Because
yeah,
I don't need to be in all these different memberships that are repeating the very same types of things.
totally. And you know what else I noticed too? And I don't know if this is your experience, Lolita, but I see a lot of membership programs. What they give you is a vault of videos. And all of a sudden you're in this big vault with all these courses and all these videos, and you're not going to finish all of them. It's just an overwhelming way of approaching this. And here it's live. It's real time. It's like connection every week. So yes, thank you for clarifying that. There's the business component and there's all aspects within the business: branding, we've talked about enrollment, sales, stories, goal setting, things of this nature. And then the transformational aspect of it. This is the deep work I do in our advanced courses. So I literally bring in processes and teachings from our total immersion courses. Like, the nucleus of my work is the immersive courses, and we take segments of them and we'll bring them into the membership. So you get a taste of that. Those are the transformational. And then the neuroscience, this has been amazing. Plus, we have this exciting collaboration and partnership now with the NPN Institute of Organizational and Applied Neuroscience, where their experts are very excited to come and meet you and be featured. Matter of fact, a couple months ago, was it 1 or 2 months ago, we had Josh Davis, who is a neuroscientist who wrote the very first neuroscience NLP book ever. Okay. And he came and he had a Q&A with the members, and he ended up even guiding a visualization experience. So did I answer your questions? Yeah, you got it. It is, it's such a powerful place. What starts happening too is that the group gets to know each other and amazing relationships are forged. Anybody else have a question that you want to share, or a question about the membership or about anything we've covered today? Because otherwise we will be closing out our session and my team will be happy to stick around and answer any questions that you have. It is a family. Carmen, you want to share any final things about the membership? She's part of our team. She put it in there. She wasn't expecting that.
Yes, always. Yeah, it's a family, this community. You'll get to meet people that are so heartfelt that you don't see that everywhere. And you'll really find people that will be there for you when you need it, with tools and
strategies that'll help you
yes.
grow your business. So you're going to get the connection and you're going to get that growth.
Yeah. And also networking, if you know, people will come together. If you look for, Niurka mentioned it, if you look for something, there's someone that knows someone that knows someone, and you'll get there. You'll get results, you'll get family, you'll get a community. Come join us. We're here for each other, and yeah, we love you.
Yeah, my team loves you and they're here to support you every step of the way. All right, everyone. I appreciate you. I love you. I'm grateful for you. The team will drop the link one final time. Come be with the membership. You'll be so grateful you did. The value is beyond what that very low investment is. So it's a joy to see you, Greg and Jamie and Michael. Michael, it's always awesome to be in your presence. And Carol and Harold, I love seeing you. Hello, Mercedes, Margaret. All right, beautiful ones. My team will stick around. If you have any questions, you can stick around. They'll be happy to answer them. And with deep love and deep gratitude, I declare our power of gratitude is complete in 2025. I will see you in the membership next month. We got an exciting topic happening next month. That's what I'm intending to see